Casey Leiden of MMA Fighting here in Melbourne, Australia with Greg Jackson. How are you doing, sir?
I couldn't be better. Very happy to be here.
Now, the last time you were in Melbourne, some good things happened for you and your camp. What was it for?
The last time we were in fights in Melbourne, I believe Holly beat Ronda, which was a very, very good night. So we have a lot of good energy, and I'm hoping to keep that energy going with Lando Vannata tonight. Or not tonight, tomorrow morning.
Landon, he came into the UFC red hot. He's had some issues. Not necessarily, he doesn't look like, he still looks like the amazing action fighter he's always been. Just something just isn't coming together. Have you noticed that too?
Yeah, I think with Landon, once we get his entire game together, once he's really mentally on point where he can focus, relax, and do the techniques, he's capable of so much. Once he locks all that in, he's pretty much unstoppable. So helping him in that process, helping to get better each fight, you know, through the stumbles, through the great performances, through some of the stumbles, has been a real pleasure. And I'm super excited to see him put it all together on Sunday morning and just knock it out of the park. So I'm super optimistic, super hopeful, and I really, really believe in him.
So one of your other fighters you work with, a guy named Jon Jones.
Heard of that guy?
You've heard of that guy. He has a fight coming up, geez, that's pretty soon now.
A couple weeks.
Few weeks. How's, I guess now that for the near future, this whole commission issue seems to be done with. How is it now, I guess, back in training camp so soon?
So Jon Jones was so excited about his last fight that he wanted to immediately jump in camp again. And listen, his opponent, Anthony, he's a tough guy. I've actually trained him. I know him. He's super tough. He's actually a real threat, and we're treating him as such. So to see his focus still stay sharp, even though, you know, he just went through this whole huge process of beating this guy that had almost beat him, he's jumping right back in with both feet, which is really exciting for me to see. And just to see the respect he's giving Anthony, and he's really giving him his due, and is really training hard for him, is super important.
Is that something you fear, coaching with Jon, as far as, like, you know, Anthony Smith on paper isn't Daniel Cormier?
I think that one of the most dangerous points in a fighter's career is where they get overconfident. And you've seen it again and again and again. I mean, I was there when Matt Serra beat George. You know, you get these fighters that on paper shouldn't even be fighting, and then the other guy wins. And if you don't respect that, if you don't take everybody seriously and understand that on any given day it can be your day, and you don't train hard enough for that day to be prepared, you can get caught. So we definitely respect that, and it's very, very important that Jon understood that, which he does, and that he's training as hard as he is, because it's going to be a war.
What was your takeaways from Jon's performance, his last performance versus Gustafsson?
I was really excited about Jon's last performance because he did everything that we did in the game plan. I mean, we have such a great team around us. Everybody from Mike Winklejohn, Izzy, Tusa, Brandon. We have so many great coaches, and they all give us input. And to see him synthesize all of that and really perform well was amazing. And just to put such an exclamation on it, you know that I've evolved. I'm better than I was when I fought him the last time, but I'm not as good as I'm going to be, is really cool. Again, I'm a process guy, so it's really cool for me to see him kind of take that next step up, and then we'll see he step up again and again and again.
For each of the Gustafsson training camps, more about pretty much the week of it, mm-hmm. the final weeks of it. Like, was there a big difference in Jon's mentality?
There was. Last time the first time I should say that Jon fought Gus, he wasn't quite as focused as he was the second time. You know, he was very young still, very successful, and that's hard to fight. So the second time around, he was all business. He was really focused, and a focused Jon Jones is probably the most dangerous fighter on the planet. You don't want that.
And as a coach, at this point in Jon's maturity or his athletic career, is that really, is that maybe the toughest part, or the most important part is keeping Jon just focused on this guy?
For me, I think the most important part is keeping Jon evolving, keeping him doing new things, getting excited about stuff. So that is the most important thing, because if you do that, then he'll stay focused. Obviously, he's in such a competitive sport with the highest level of these amazing combat athletes. You can't afford not to be super focused. So yeah, when he's super focused and really absorbing and growing, like I said, he's the most dangerous man on the planet.
When you say evolving, what does that mean exactly?
When I talk about evolving with Jon, I mean adding new techniques, new ideas, new things, new ways to do it, just to be as creative as possible. That's the deal. So keeping Jon excited with new creative ideas, new places to take our techniques on the ground, standing, grappling, wherever, constantly giving him new ideas for his brain to kind of feed on. I think that's really important, because we don't ever want to just win the war of yesterday. We want to win the war of tomorrow, and keeping that new information and new different ideas constantly pumping into his brain so that he is always forced to evolve and grow, I think is super, super important for the longevity.